But we were executing on it the whole first round, and he was by far he was definitely the guy we would have picked had we succeeded in trading up. Like that wasn't a question based on our board. It wasn't close. But so yeah, we were very aggressive. I think there was 3 different picks where we thought we had probably succeeded, and then the team called us, on the clock and said, no, our guys there, we're going to pick it. Then we flipped to the next one, and that's kind of how it works. And so we were aggressive.
Did it help at all on draft night having a pretty good idea, not a 100% sure idea, but a pretty good idea of the 3 players that would be picked before number 4, so you could have at least somewhat of a plan in place and then move on to what's next?
I had no idea who was going to be picked before 4. So I know the betting markets didn't spike like last year or whatever happened, but no, we didn't feel comfortable that we knew who would be at 4, and so we had all kinds of contingencies in place. But yeah, it did turn out that way, and we're very pleased.
What's your first thought when you get to say, well, Amen's going to be putting on our jersey, he's going to be a Rocket? What are we going to see?
You're going to see a guy who can move. Like I think he's it's hard to describe just kind of how good an athlete he is and how natural a one, because he can really handle the basketball. So he's not necessarily somebody who you're like, oh, they're super raw. Like this guy can get places with the ball, and so I feel really comfortable that that's probably going to translate quickly. How quickly, who knows? But I think that's going to be, I think that and his defense and the way he can kind of sit down and move his feet defensively, I think are, in summer league, whenever, I think that'll be apparent immediately. And then the transition for the game and the jump in competition and just all of that, I think is very TBD. But I do think, I'm really excited to see him play for us. I think he's got a chance to be really special.
I guess I could then have to ask the same question about number 1, the freight train, Cam Whitmore.
I like that. Amen already gave him a nickname. I think Cam is. Yeah, he's. I mean, Amen's actually really physical, but Cam's physical in a different way. He's more just trying to put his shoulder into you and move you. He's really young. I think he's the 2nd youngest player in the draft, and so I think he's just gonna get stronger and stronger and stronger. But he's a tremendous athlete. He can move you and he can jump over you. And you shoot the ball a little bit. So I think both these guys are gonna be exciting.
You mentioned the youth, and we sat here in this very room a year ago. We were talking about the plan that was laid out with you and Tillman, and I asked the same thing of Ime Udoka. Like, how hard is the patience aspect of watching the development, waiting for the development when you have a team that is this young? And he went ahead and mentioned, that when it comes to free agency, he does want, obviously, maturity and veteran leadership to go with the amount of youth you guys have. So how hard is that in your shoes, obviously, to kind of, hurry up and wait on this process?
Yeah, I mean, we want to. I'm actually really looking forward to the summer. Like we've kind of, when I inherited the job, we had some onerous contracts, and there were a lot of things that just were.
Right.
They were choices that had been made 5, 6, 7 years ago, and now we're living with them. And so when 2.5 years ago, when we decided to go down this path, it was very much like you could see when we were going to be back in the game, and it was like, in 5 days or whatever. And so I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be the first summer that we've really, since I guess we had free agent money a little bit, like mid-level when I first got the job. But since then, we've been kind of this rebuild, and it's not that you can't spend money on free agents. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. And so this summer, with kind of real money at our disposal, the idea is to bring in, players that I think can really raise our level. And it's very hard for one guy to do that in a vacuum. It's much easier if you can layer people on top of one another. And this summer, we have the opportunity to do it. Now, whether people agree to our deals and we succeed is to be determined. But that's going to be the goal, is to bring in a few players who can help each other, who can help our young guys, and we can build it out. So if Ime says it was frustrating, he's completely lying, because he did not live through the frustrating and the hard times, right? That was definitely myself and Steven and everybody else. But I think, I think we are excited that our young guys have really gotten better. And I think that's one underrated aspect of this, is that it's not just that you're adding veterans to a bunch of rookies. It's that your rookies aren't rookies anymore. And our second-year players aren't second-year players anymore. And we do need them to be better. Jalen needs to be better. Alperen needs to be better. Kevin needs to be better. He's going to go into his 5th year. And, I thought he actually really improved last year. But, across the board, we want Jabari and Tari need to really take a jump, And so if all that happens in connection with bringing in some veteran guys, now you have a bunch of people who know how to play. And for our rookies this year, Cam and Amen, they're gonna fit in how they fit in and how Ime decides they're gonna fit in. But again, we're entering a different stage, which I think in some respects is gonna be much easier for guys coming in. So with respect to Amen and Cam, they're gonna have to fit in with guys who are further along, and that's easier. The less is going to be asked of them, right? The flip side is it's going to be harder to get an opportunity. Yeah. And so, that's what we forecast will be the case next year. But, it's also, forecasting can get you in a lot of trouble. So we're just, we're hopeful that will be the case next year, but we'll see how it all